Hey all, welcome to my new channel where I'm going to start a little bit of a journey of van life without the big fancy Sprinter van that's had a $10,000 reno. We're going to do this trip with my minivan, and you're going to see how we switch it out for different purposes throughout the summer. So I hope you enjoy our journey, our travels on the cheap, shoestring budget for sure. The video will go on to explain how we do our first setup, which is for traveling to flea markets and shows, and we'll follow up with more information as we go. So far this has been a $100 investment, but that is because I had a lot of my own camping gear and stuff like that. That doesn't include the mattress. I spent a good amount of money for a good quality mattress because, well, let's face it, I'm getting old and that's important to me. But a lot of people just use a very thin foam or something like that. So it's really up to your own needs and probably your age. Otherwise, we'll get started, and I'm going to clean out this baby so you can see it from start to finish. See you soon. Myself, so I'm going to pause a couple different times to be able to do things that are a little bit more awkward with just one person. But first of all, I have the luxury of having stow and go seating. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to close up all the auxiliary seating and just leave room for the driver and one passenger. So at this point I'm going to pause and get those seats down. So we're back, we're down to the last seat. I'm just going to show you how quick and easy it is. Pull cord number 1, cord number 2 to release it, and cord number 3 to pack it away. Now we have a good amount of space to work with. Sleeping and comfort is very important to me, so a full-size mattress is what I'm trying to pull off here. Now I could just throw a mattress in the back, hit the road, but then everything I need to store is going to have to be thrown on top of the bed, then pulled out every night, and then stacked in the front seat, and that becomes pretty tedious. I've done it lots of times before, but I want a bit of an upgrade. So I happen to know, since I've hauled a few 4x8 sheets of plywood in here, that the width does take 4 feet. So I popped into my local Canadian Tire and looked for shelving units that were 2 feet wide, knowing that I'd be able to put 2 of them side by side. These came with 5 shelves each. Now I have seen somebody else use just the top shelf in the pole, which is going to give you a few more inches clearance. But I use my van for multi-purpose, and you'll see how I use these units later. So right now I've built 4 of them, which took 2 shelving units, and they were $50 a pop. So for our structure, you could get away with the $50, but because I wanted the bottom panel as well, I've gone with the $100 purchase. So I'm just going to pop these guys in place, and I'll be right back. I'm just about to slide the last one in. Let me move the camera down a little so you can see what I'm doing. One of the reasons that I want the top and bottom is because not only do I want this for traveling, but I also want this van outfitted to be able to do flea markets and shows. So what this allows me to do is to pull out the shelving unit, grab a spare set of poles, and stack it on top of one of the others, so I can make 2 shelving units with 3 shelves each, which allows me to put my product on it without bringing any extra tables or things like that. So once we slide the last one in place, as you can see here, we have a really nice sturdy platform for our mattress. The mattress is a full-size 6-inch spring mattress. I have a bad back, and so does my partner, so support is a little bit more important as we age. And comfort while traveling is also important which is why I've allowed the front seats to still be able to be back as far as possible and to recline to quite a good degree. At this point, I'm going to struggle as I slide in the mattress without any help, so I'll spare you from that. Alright, at this point you can see I've got the mattress in. It takes the full width of the van. It still allows you access to the cubbies on both sides where you can keep your phone and stuff at night. One thing we have done is underneath here at the bottom of the shelving units along the front, since there is about a foot of space, I've just put a couple bungees across. As we load this with totes, we don't want them sliding up and hitting right along the back seats, and that just kind of keeps everything in place. So at this point, you're ready to go. You could just load up your stuff here. I'll do a future video that shows the things that we pack for on the road traveling. It's a little bit different. It's not as hardcore as camping, but we do try and cover the bare essentials so we can manage a shower if we need to, a restroom if we need to, a little bit of cooking, that kind of thing. And those just go in the totes and go underneath the shelving units here. But the other thing that this allows me to do is now to travel to a show where I can load it up with product. I can fit easily a number of totes down here, and there's enough clearance to do an entire amount of more product on the top. So at this point, I'm going to load it up with product as I have a show to attend very shortly, and I'll give you an idea what that looks like. See you in a few. Okay, at this point we're all loaded up. There's room for 8 totes underneath, and again you could do 8 totes on top depending on what kind of show it is. If it's close by and you don't need the bed, then you could fill the top layer with totes. I can fit an additional 3 or 4 in the passenger seat if I'm going alone. So we'll show you what this looks like from the back. Now, all the rest of the totes are product. When the lids are closed, there is enough clearance to put a couple larger sets that don't fit in the totes very well. And then I always take, regardless if I'm camping, traveling, going to shows, I take my garage tote, which just has things like chalks and a shovel, some bungees, a hammer, oil, that kind of thing, and jumper cables just in case there's any issues. So I will pop that in place. Just put it under the bed here. And now that that's all packed, we have room to gather the tent awning, which will protect me at a show if there's rain. I could still tuck in product here or there. I could fill half the bed if I wanted to stay the night before. So you have a lot of options. And for now, we're going to conclude. The next video will give you an idea of what we do when we're in traveling mode instead of show mode. And we'll give you an idea of the things that we pack and make up our bed, and show you how we live with things like window coverings and stuff like that. So until next time, this is the down, dirty, cheap way to travel without changing the configuration of your van, making it very versatile for different activities. So until then, peace out. So without filming start to finish, it takes 10-15 minutes to completely unload or load. It's easy to drive because it's a minivan, so I don't have to worry about places I pull in. It's pretty easy to park places because it's a nondescript minivan. The Silver Bullet is, that's what I call her. She's been on a lot of road trips with me. She's pretty old, and that's another reason why I didn't want to do a full built-in conversion or something along that line, because I do hope to get rid of her this Christmas and maybe start 2019 with a new vehicle. fingers crossed. However, she's driven me all across Canada and all through the United States, or through many parts of the United States, and I have no regrets having a minivan for what my needs are. It may not be the coolest type of vehicle, but it certainly helps me do shows, sales, events, and travel. And travel in the cheap is a big goal when your income is low and you don't want to focus on working for a living. You'd rather adventure for a living and work just to survive. It's certainly not for everyone, and we'll see what kind of adventures we get into. You'll see we don't go to typical tourist places, although we do. I mean, we go to all the typical, but or I prefer to find the really off-beaten path, artsy, kind of strange places. So if that journey sounds interesting to you, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, and we'll see how this journey goes. Until then, peace out.